I remember thinking that my life was perfect. Well, as perfect as it could be anyway. My parents were very loving and supportive. Foster parents, I should say. Jill and Tony. They're great. My real parents were dead, so that part wasn't so perfect. My big sister was super awesome. She's a foster like me. Not to say she didn't have her issues. What foster kid doesn't? But Nora was pretty great too. That's what I mean by as perfect as it could be. Some people think I'm an optimist. Believe me, I'm not. I'm really just practical. And to me, it makes more sense to focus on what I have than on what I don't have. You can't build anything with what you don't have. If there's one thing I've learned in my 16 years, it's that life doesn't give you anything but opportunities. And it's on us whether we can see them and how we use them. If we miss them or make bad choices, well, life can be a real bitch. I didn't know why I was feeling so introspective. Jill had just brought me something that she'd been holding on to for a while. It was just a wooden box. More like a small chest, I guess. About 2 feet long, a foot wide, and maybe a foot tall. It was my mother's. I didn't know Jill had it, but she said I was old enough now that I should be the one to take care of it. It was my inheritance. I remembered my parents, but it had been such a long time. What was inside the box? What would I find out? Would it change anything? I could imagine all kinds of things about them. I couldn't ask the box any questions. It wouldn't hug me or smile at me. I did remember those things about my parents. No, the box could only tell me something of the people who had been my parents. Maybe. Whatever it held, it would have to be enough. There wasn't anything else. And once I knew what was inside, there wouldn't be any more answers. "Aren't you going to look inside, Mira?" I looked up at Nora as she leaned against the doorframe, then back to the box in my lap. "Nosy?" I teased her, looking back up. We didn't look much like sisters. Oh, we were about the same height, not terribly tall, and we both wore our hair past our shoulders. Other than that, we were very different. She had crazy curly red hair, which she hated, and freckles on her pale skin. My looks and light brown skin clearly showed my Latina heritage. She'd just turned 18, so she was 2 years older than me and ready to graduate from high school. I'd already started teasing her about graduation. How could anyone hope to look nice in those horrible robes? I planned to take plenty of pictures to save as blackmail material for the future. She shrugged and looked away. "Maybe, but if you want to look at it alone, Mira, I understand." "No," I shook my head. I don't know. I really don't know anything about my real mom." I glanced at her quickly. "That sounded horrible. Jill has been a real mom to me." Nora nodded. "It's okay. I know what you mean." I turned back to the chest in my lap. It wasn't very heavy, but it was a bit bulky to open on my lap, so I put it on the bed next to me. The top was slightly rounded, but not too much. It was made out of a dark wood, and the corners had been reinforced with metal. The whole thing wasn't terribly decorative, but it was definitely sturdy. There was a clasp with a lock holding it shut. "It looks like it takes a key," I said. "Let me take a look," Nora said, approaching. She smiled at me. "You have a bobby pin?" I laughed as I retrieved one from my dresser. "Here you go, but I don't think it's as easy as they show in the movies." Nora tried for several minutes to open the latch before she gave up. "Sorry," she shrugged. "I guess it is harder than in the movies." "That's frustrating." I frowned. "How am I supposed to open it?" I gave the latch an irritated shove and it popped open. "Woohoo!"